Criminal Code Section 119(1), no holder of public office can take an action that benefits themselves or their family. The Liberals have claimed, well, there needs to be more separation between Parliament and the RCMP. And certainly I agree there should be separation. The job of the RCMP is to enforce the rule of law for everybody equally. And so I think you are what your record says you are. So why don't we look at the record of the relationship and the separation between the RCMP and this Liberal government? Let's start with the Billionaire Island fiasco. You may remember that the Prime Minister wasted $215,000 worth of taxpayer money, and it was alleged that if he didn't give himself written permission, it was actually fraud. And let's talk about the SNC Lavalin scandal. So we know that Jody Wilson-Raybould was clear with the Prime Minister and Elder Marquez that they absolutely could not talk to the prosecutor about getting SNC the deal to get them off the hook. So he kicked her to the curb, and then he put his buddy David Lametti in place. And oh, voila, the next thing you know, SNC Lavalin has the agreement that they need to get off the hook. Well, did the RCMP investigate this thing? No, they did not. Until 4 years after the fact, after Brenda Lucki retired, they decided they were going to start investigating. And as soon as they announced that, interestingly, David Lametti was kicked out of cabinet and ended up stepping down as an MP. And then let's talk about the We Charity scandal. So Section 119(1) of the Criminal Code says that it is illegal for a holder of public office to take an action that benefits themselves or their family. And it is clear to everyone that the Prime Minister took an action by approving nearly $1 billion for the We Charity scandal, and we all know that his mother and his brother and his wife were getting paid by the We Charity to do speaking engagements. And the Prime Minister, in BBC News, said, "I made a mistake for not recusing myself from the discussions immediately, given my family's history." Well, he didn't make a mistake. He broke the law. But again, the RCMP did nothing. It's a pattern of corruption. So we've seen that with this government from the beginning, when I got elected in 2015. There's been a history of not just corruption at the Prime Minister's level, but throughout the Liberal Party. If you would recall, Raj Grewal, a former MP, who was charged with fraud. Joe Peschisolido, former Liberal MP. His company was involved and charged with the money laundering scam. Sexual misconduct with Hunter Tootoo and Darshan Khan. The clam scam, where the Minister of Public Safety currently gave his relative a $25 million clam quota and to a company that didn't even own a boat. Like, terrible. The Minister of Transportation gave money to her husband's company. It's a total conflict of interest. And so the government is showing that they have this pattern of behavior, and whenever they're caught, then they do the obvious, they delay, and they refuse to release documents, or they release them all redacted. When it comes to this green slush fund, I think one of the most disturbing things about it, to me, is that the Minister of Environment and Climate Change was part of the cabinet that approved the money for the Green Slush Fund. He was part of the cabinet that chose the committee members of this, that were going to decide who got the money. And the committee members gave the money to a company called Cycle that he is a stakeholder in. So once again, Criminal Code Section 119(1), no holder of public office can take an action that benefits themselves or their family. And I would argue that this is another example that should be looked into by the RCMP.